Hello, YouTube. So, the event has now finally come to pass. Gravity Falls has ended. There's a lot to talk about for this episode, so I'm just gonna start off with the story. So, following the events of the end of the last episode, the Pine Twins and Wendy and Seuss have now come back to the Mystery Shack and are meeting up with all the remaining patrons of Gravity Falls, or at least only the important ones. So now that they've met up with all of them, they learn how they got into the Mystery Shack, and how this whole entire situation has been on them. And well, Dipper just says, "Hey, Ford knows a secret way to beat Bill. We can go save him." So they decide to make a giant robot to go save Ford. The obvious solution. Or at least it's pretty obvious when you have Bill Ford around. Um, and also Sue suggests giant gun swords. Again, the obvious solution. But not everybody seems to be on board with the plan. Okay, one person's not on board with the plan. That person being Stanley. He doesn't really want to go along with it because he thinks it'll be too dangerous, rightfully so, but he goes anyway without any real convincing to bring him along on this. I guess he just didn't want to stay out in the open, but could have just stayed inside. He could have just gone some of the unicorn hair. Could have been fine. But now, they are going off to go and attack Bill, who seems to be trying to get some information out of Ford the hard way by torturing him. Obvious kid show ideas. So when he sees the giant robot with the Mystery Shack as the top of it, he decides to do the best idea he knows how: send a shit ton of monsters at it. And so now that all the monsters have gone there, they're really easily taken down, as you would expect from all monsters. Like, a ton of monsters, but they're taken down by one robot. The obvious thing I thought I'd be talking about when it comes to Gravity Falls. So eventually they keep on fighting him, but this gives some of the characters time to escape from the giant robot and go in and try and save Ford. So they go in and do exactly that. They save Ford, but they do find out that apparently some of the characters can't leave the temple because they're needed for a pentagram. What is this pentagram, you might ask? Only the circle that's been surrounding Bill this whole time. Yes, the circle has now finally come into the show, and what does it do? It'll get rid of Bill. But will all the characters be willing to stand in the circle? Not really. Stanley doesn't really want to do it. But more importantly, we got the characters right. Yes, people, we got their characters that were going to step in certain positions correct. So there's that. That's real important. But Stanley doesn't really want to cooperate, and really, under the stupidest circumstances, him and Ford get into a fight, breaking the circle right at the moment that Bill comes back. That's some really bad timing. So now Bill is back, and he does capture them, or at least some of them. Outside of the Pines family, he turns the rest into tapestries. Why wouldn't he? So Now he's threatening Ford that he will torture the Pines twins. Yeah, again, such nice child ideas here. Um, unless if Ford tells him how to get out of the circle and trapping all of Gravity Falls weirdness into the one town. Ford, but eventually the kids do get out, and they pretty much, their genius solution is just to be chased by Bill. Of course. So, and while they're being chased by Bill, Ford and Stanley come up with a plan. What is this plan? To wipe Bill out of one of Stan's heads. But which Stan is it? Oh, it's obviously Stanley, but which Stan is it is a question you'll be asking for a few minutes. So, eventually Bill does catch the kids, and he goes immediately back into the main room and is threatening to torture them as he said he would. But Ford, maybe Ford, just maybe, does, but Ford does eventually say, yeah, okay, I'll let you into my mind. But, as it turns out, it's not Ford, it's Stanley. And Bill is erased from existence. Because I guess erasing him just from one person's mind automatically kills him. Okay. Yes, that's how that works. And as Bill's defeated, everything in the town reverts back to normal. Except for one thing. Stanley. Yes, he has now lost his memory of who he even is, and doesn't even remember the kids. But this only lasts for like 5 minutes. Yeah, after 5 minutes, then it's just, he remembers them automatically because Maple showed him a scrapbook. Okay. And now that he remembers who he is, everything in the town goes back to normal, except for the fact that now magical creatures and, well, any type of magic is actually being very well accepted in the town. It's even being opened. So, yeah, everyone's sort of cool with magic now. Okay. Half of the people were frozen in stone this whole time, but I guess now they're fine with magic. Like, think about that. Think about if you were some of the random patrons in the town. Like, you're frozen in stone for a little bit, after all this insanity has now fallen upon you, then out of nowhere, you're unfrozen, and you just see people who are completely fine with magical creatures. Would you not be a little bit panicked? I mean, granted, you live in Gravity Falls, but wouldn't you be the tad bit surprised? Oh, and speaking of Tad, we get to see Tad Strange again. For one line, but still, get to see Tad again. I'm very happy about this. And then we do finally see, though, that it is Dipper and Maple's birthday. Everyone in the town does celebrate, but the next day they do have to leave. And with that, we get some closing narration as to what happens to the rest of the characters. Suits inherits the Mystery Shack as Stanley and Ford go on mystery solving like they have planned to. And the Santa War 2. Yeah, like, that's just kind of cool. And they fight a giant squid, obviously. And thus ends, and everyone in the town is pretty much fine with everything that's going on around them because they live in Gravity Falls, I guess. So now we end out the show. Now, okay. When I first started watching this episode, I gotta say I didn't really like it. It just sort of felt like they weren't really doing a series finale, but a season finale. And it still kind of feels like that. But I will say The last 20 minutes are really good. Up to the point with Bill and his final battle with Stanley. After that, at that one point is pretty much is where it gets great. This is where the episode really hits every point that it needs to hit. It concludes all the stories that we really need to see. There are some that I do wish could have been forwarded a little bit more, and it actually had some clever ways of doing some things. Like, I like for one that the pentagram thing has been brought up so much, but in the end, it didn't really do anything. It didn't even help save anyone. It was just sort of, it was about to be used, but nope, it was never really saved. It was never really used at all. Some might say that this is kind of a disappointment there, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty clever. Just like, oh yeah, a lot of people built this up. Let's do nothing with it. Let's let people be happy with it for a bit, but then we'll just completely destroy it. I love that. Um, and there are some pretty funny moments, but for the most part, I didn't really find myself laughing that much. I don't really know why. Just like the humor in this episode wasn't really how high I thought it would be. Although, again, those last 20 minutes, those are really where it hits bullseye. Every point that was needed to hit with the characters and their development has been hit. Now, now, this has been said to be the end of the show. So I'm going to talk about the show in whole. Maybe one day I'll do a review on it, but I'll wait for a little bit on that. But pretty much, this was a really fun show. It was great to solve all these mysteries along with the characters. It was great to see their development. The animation is beautiful. The stories are interesting and funny. The humor is great. All of the sort of stuff in the show that we can really love is there. And it really is a very great show. You don't get shows like this every day. And that's why its short run has been a bit disappointing to people. But I'm kind of satisfied with it. I didn't want it to last too long anyway. I mean, okay, I would have been fine with another season, but then we could have gotten an X-Files sort of thing. So I'm kind of glad that we aren't getting another season after watching the X-Files new one, but it is seriously a great show, and I just really enjoy it. All the sort of stuff that needs to hit, it feels like it hits. All the sort of stuff has been tied up very well. And who knows? One day we might see them in yet another summer. Or maybe not. I don't know. Alex Hirsch said that he was going to go onto a different channel and everything, so there's a 50-50 chance that he could return, but I don't know. Maybe one day we will see that next summer that Dipper and Maple do come back in. And really, it's just been a great show. All the characters have gotten great development. Even the ones that you would think would be throwaway characters have gotten some pretty great development. The villains are fun, the main characters are equally so, and it's just an all-around great show. I really do enjoy this show, and I just really think that it's just a great. I just really think that it did great in everything that it was supposed to do. It told the story that I wanted to tell, but who knows, maybe one day it'll have another one. So, with that, remember, reality is illusion, the universe is hologram. Bye, go, bye!